Yeah. Don't matter what day on the weekend, we're gonna get your ass.
Yeah. Well, happy root chakra day. It's the first day of the week, Sunday. The root chakra. We're at the root of the chakra. Okay. Well, let's start with the mantra. You don't need to see me. Through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow, of the great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible light from which comes the absolute all. All that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and commanded to be. Is now being and becoming an active force of higher consciousness, an active force of infinite intelligence within us all now being and becoming the great primordial dragon god son, Kundalini flames. Now, whirling and ascending up our spines from our root chakras to our central heart chakra, on up to our royal crown chakra, igniting our royal crown chakra, illuminating our first eye, our Lord Amunel Drakra, our hidden priestly grandmaster magi dragon god son, king and queen igniting all of the 72 chakras in our first eye, our 72 primordial dragon god son kings and queens, and all of our legions of 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 armies 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 of armies. Now, willing all the forces, all the elements, all the essences, all the powers, dark matter and dark energy, running the entire omniverse, earth and physical and spiritual matrix and heavenlies into being and becoming all of our will servants, serving all of our wills, objectives, intentions, and desires, crystallizing them all into realization, actualization, and form as we are now will and commanded to be. Now, coming down as the unlimited source of energy that we need now to overcome and defeat all of the obstacles in our way, completely dissolving all of our problems, worries, lacks, and fears into complete nothingness. Now, manifesting into our lives as the substance that we need to rebuild our life into the proper order and law that we will command and desire our lives to be. As we only affirm the positive abundance in the absolute all as the nicheness of oneness in the absolute all, manifesting in our lives as divine love, perfect health, and vitality, the abundance of prosperity in the absolute all, enriching our lives and the lives of all that surrounds us, while protecting us from the evil of human thoughts and human deeds, neutralizing all of our enemies, bringing all out war, judgment, death, and total destruction upon the evil of the soulless robots and the ignorant walking dead and their Lord and God, the demiurge and the archonic forces, enslaving and feeding off of the divine spark, the Kundalini race, and all of the entities and deities aligned against us, enslaving us in grotesque matter to be reborn, live, suffer, and die over and over until now, because of our now's the time to rise up to conscious unity as as they all fall, as all out war, judgment, death, and destruction is upon them all, as we are now will and commanded to be. Through the power, force, and might, will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow. The great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible light from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we are now willing commanded to be. Abracadabra, Ashe.
So change your
Yep. All right. Well, what would have been? crown day chakra. Now it's the root day chakra. I mean, libation. Okay. All right. Crown chakra day libations on root chakra day. Ain, the nothingness, Ashe. Ain Soft, the infinite, Ashe. Ain Soft, or the infinite light, Ashe. Adam Catman, Atik Yaman, the ancient of ancient, the most ancient of days, Irik Yampin, the big face, the primordial Christ, Ashe. Atzilith, emanations, the supernal holy universe manifesting as our holy divine infinite magical names, the cosmic Christ, Ashe. The great abyss of Gnosis, the crown of Zerampin, the small face, the indwelling Christ, Ashe. Berea, form, creation, and paradise manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical decoys, demons, Ashe. Yetzirah, formation, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical orders of dark angels and demons, Ashe. Ashia, the actual physical world in the making, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical earthly kingdom, Ashe. Yeshida, the holy divine magical spark, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical will, Ashe. Heya, our holy divine infinite magical life force, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical desire, Ashe. Neshama, our holy divine infinite magical heavenly soul, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical heavenly thoughts, Ashe. Ruach, our holy divine infinite magical soul, manifesting in us as our holy divine infinite magical words spoken through us, Ashe. Nephish, our holy divine infinite magical earthly soul, manifesting into realization, actualization, and form as we are now willing commanded to be, Ashe. Kether, the supernal crown, Ashe. Hakma, wisdom, the supernal father, Ashe. Bana, understanding and intelligence, the supernal mother, Ashe. Dath, the great abyss of gnosis, Ashe. Hased, mercy, Ashe. Gavura, judgment, Ashe. Tiferet, beauty, Ashe. Netzik, victory, Ashe. Had, glory, Ashe. Yasad, foundation, Ashe. Malkut, the kingdom, Ashe. The power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow, the primordial cosmic flower constantly blooming the absolute all into being, Ashe. To Bobby Hemmett, Ashe. To Brother Panic, Ashe. To C. Freeman Nell, Ashe. To Dr. Deborah Blair, Ashe. To Kali Muhammad, Ashe. And to all fallen teachers and scholars and gods and goddesses, Ashe.
Order out of chaos beings, Ashe.
Ashe.
Um, divine gods, Ashe. Beyond gods, Ashe.
Ashe.
Um, Isis, Empress, Cyrus, Taylor, Ashe.
Ashe.
Um, and to the ancestors, Ashe.
Ashe.
To all gods known and unknown, all goddesses known and unknown, Ashe.
Ashe. Mm. Well,
Right,
this is something different. Doing this on a Sunday night, it's different feel.
right.
Yeah.
The Sunday circle. That's what we
Yeah.
call it, the Sunday circle.
Yeah. We're at the
Get
beginning.
more people, get more people to come into the Sunday circle.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have a spiritual discussion.
Hmm. Yeah. Some real Sunday school. So, when the world's just getting crazier and crazier. Yeah, believe it or not, I got hit by the 10th automobile on Monday.
You
This
got hit
time it
by
was a pickup truck.
what the hell is up with you and getting in cars?
Oh, I don't know, man. Well, Shit, I move fast. People move fast. A lot of traffic.
Oh, you be on that damn bike. That's why.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the traffic in California is weird because now bicyclists are basically looked at as part of the traffic now.
yeah. And shit, they're getting picked off one by one, day by day. I mean, traffic fatalities are up ever since 2020. People are not the same anymore. Everyone knows the whole planet has gotten a lot sicker since then.
What do you mean by sick? Mentally, spiritually?
Both. And while at the same time, a lot of people have waken up too as well. It seems like the worse it gets, the more people wake up.
Right. I mean, this is the dynamics of the order and the chaos in the universe, and if you narrow it down to a human sense of it, and then you don't see the tapestry of the universe, its full glory and everything involved. Brother talked to me the other day and said he said something to me that was basically in the line of logic of why I came up with the concept of order out of chaos beings and chaos out of order beings, and why we always say order chaos, chaos order,
Hmm.
because we're giving reverence to the full tapestry of the universe, not just having a bias for one aspect of the polarity of the nature of the universe, right?
Yeah, we're keeping it holistic.
Keeping it holistic, right? So a
Yeah.
brother was talking, I was talking to a brother the other day, and he basically gave me a good analogy of how violence, violence, organized violence is progressive. It helps us. Like a car. He said, like a car is like organized violence because a car is an actual violent machine, but it's
Straight out demonic.
organized violence though because it's like an intricately mechanic made from mechanics to come together to have a propulsion system that takes that car from one. But that shit is a violent endeavor. The whole
Yes.
basis of a car, you know what I'm saying? That shit is violent. The spark plugs uh, hitting
Shit.
and there's a lot of violence that goes on
Well,
in a car.
the compulsion, the combustion energy engine,
Right.
that's exploding. Yeah, it's
Yes.
combusting,
So
compressing.
that's a good analogy for how chaos can be organized to be something that can be useful. You know what I'm
I
saying?
like, yeah, I like the term necessary evil.
Right. Right. So like you have to consider that from the if you look at it from that perspective, you're not like most humans who are naive, who are their circumference of thinking can't see beyond the connotative social engineering that we've been indoctrinated by for all these years. So a lot of our activities is based in that manipulation of language. We got to
Hmm.
understand that manipulation of language is keeping us stagnated in a certain mindset that's trapping us. You gotta study entomology. I say
Yeah,
this, you gotta study entomology because when you study entomology, you understand that language is something that was it organically evolved in humanity, and you can see how all of the languages on the planet they have a
yeah.
connection to each other. They have a connection to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on human evolution and things of that nature. These languages all have a connection to you. You can see it's a concept called the morphology of language, where you can actually trace like the development of languages. I think people need to. I think people who are really into magic, especially, or
Hmm.
into the metaphysics, occult, and all that stuff, you need to
Hmm.
study the morphology of language. How do we begin to speak connotatively to in the language that we're speaking? Why is the language that we're speaking to today so connotative? Connotation means just the accepted meaning, right?
Hmm.
Connotation is the accepted meaning, right?
Co-signed on.
Right.
They
It's
want.
the accepted meaning. It's like everybody agrees that it means this in this culture. It's like how how certain things in our culture where we got ebonics or whatever, and certain things mean something different in the confounds of that culture.
So in other words, nothing really don't mean anything except for whatever fucking meaning we give it.
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, but there is something. There
Well,
is
law
something. There is
universe.
something of an intelligence that's weaved. That's an intelligent design in the fact that language even came about because we got to realize that the origins of language is symbols.
Mm-hmm.
The origins of language, as a matter of fact, the alphabet is nothing more than a symbol, but symbolism. The A B
Yeah.
C D E F G. These are symbols,
Geometric symbols.
right? And they associated. They gave a sign. They assigned a sound to it, and they assigned a sound to it, and basically these sound that they assign to it is not necessarily from the original symbol. Because if you look at the symbol itself, it means something totally different, like the A symbol. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That basically is the symbol of the apex of the pyramid.
Okay. Well, at one time they said we all spoke the same language on the planet, which was probably telepathy. But you know, that Tower of Babel thing happened. Yahweh came down there, got pissed off, and separated everyone and confused the languages.
Right. I think when that happened, there was so much cohesiveness from our us developing in that era that we was in that somebody got somebody led but got frustrated that we was going to evolve, so they had to divide us in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
They said like we was going to evolve because that was around the time that they were building the Tower of Babel too. I mean, not time, but that a story with the Tower of Babel too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Yeah.
the Tower, what was the Tower of Babel?
Well, Bobby Hemmett said that it was the pillar of it was the jet pillar, the staff of Tahuti. The Tower of Babel was the spine. We was climbing up the spine. We was raising our kundalini. We
Okay.
was going up the chakras.
Okay. Regardless, we were getting too advanced to
Advanced.
where we
Yeah.
were, we were becoming too advanced, and
Hmm.
some other entity that was jealous of that. That seemed the recurring theme is other entities that are jealous of our progression.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they might already be light years ahead of us, but they know if we stay on the same trajectory that we're on, we'll probably catch them and pass them.
That's why I like to watch cartoons that are action cartoons. Most of these cartoons are not for kids.
No.
Like Avengers. I mean, kids should watch them. I think kids because it'll make them more intelligent and more advanced. This is why I can speak so on certain ideas because
Oh, they got.
I was watching a lot of cartoons that was like kind of sophisticated, like you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah. Well.
Avengers, they go into some shit and be like, damn, giving you wordplay that
Yeah.
you would never hear otherwise.
Right. And what's so funny is that they have two streams of cartoons for kids. They got the stupid ones like the Puppy Pals and um, um, what's the one that race when them race cars, and they got all these stupid
Even
cartoons.
though sometimes I'm not talking about the ones for the preschoolers and shit, but I'm talking about the ones for like the teenagers. Some of those are deep too. Like you can go into like stuff like what was that one about? They got a lot of them right now that talk about magic and you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying. They have a lot of cartoons that talk about mysticism and things of that nature. So they be
Yeah,
going in. They be going in on the occult
yeah,
on the code. They be going in on the code. But
yeah.
now most people attribute that as the devil because there is an active campaign against demonizing any of the ancient symbolism, any of the ancient concepts.
Well, you see, what this is what they're really doing. This is what I'm picking up from most Christians. The Nephilim. They're saying that magic is evil because it was brought to us from the fallen angels. They were the ones that taught us this. We were just innocent kids before the big kids came down here and taught us all these other things.
But you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, when you talk to certain Christians,
Hmm.
they feel like some of the human like behaviors of God is um acceptable or excusable, right? Like,
Hmm.
for example, there was a scripture where God told the Israelite soldiers to kill all the Canaanites and take
Hmm.
their land.
Yeah.
And I talked to every Christian, and they said God was justified to give them that order. And he
He.
said, why? He said most of the people say because they were sacrificing baby. And that made me think about how the dynamics of Israel and Palestine, how they demonized Palestine to justify bombing Palestine and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same dynamics where religion becomes politics.
Yep. That's all it is. Politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like I can see that clearly. And then the people who are a part of it, their cult like behavior is oblivious to them. Their cult like behavior don't even their cult like behavior is not even noticeable to them. They don't understand you're operating like a cult.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
not the occult, but cult. A cult. Yeah. CULT.
Cult like cult.
Hmm.
CULT. Yeah, cult like.
Hmm. Not the occult. No.
Mm-mm.
CULT.
No, they're
Not
the
the occult.
opposite of the occult because they shun all that. They shun everything associated with the occult.
Yeah. A cult is ran by a certain leader, and everyone has to worship that leader or that particular figurehead or something.
When you are part of a group where the leader of the group or the head of the group can't be even questioned, if you can't even question his doctrine, if you can't even if you can't even say anything that will basically just be a question to what he says, you're in a cult.
Hmm. You
That's a
you're
cult.
yeah, you're a cult. Yeah.
You're in a cult. Now you're not a cult.
No, not the cult. The
You are in
hidden.
a cult, meaning you are a blind follower. You are like the get heaven's gate cult. You are like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh Shit like that. You're a part of a blind following because y'all feel good, a a charismatic leader, you know what I'm saying? Which is basically let's just call it what it actually is. It's pimping.
Yeah, it says here a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object, the cult of Saint Olaf or whatever. So I pretty much hit it on the nail. I mean, hit the nail on the hammer.
Right.
Yeah. Now, there's nothing wrong. I belong to a cult called the Cult of Glenn Ford.
The code of what?
Glenn Ford.
I got you. Right.
Yes, I'm the leader and follower.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm part of my own code too. Then shit, fuck it.
Yeah, yeah, I got my own code. And
Yeah,
we
what? I
practice
don't want
the.
no.
Hmm?
I don't want no followers.
I'm my follower.
Yep,
Yeah,
I am too. Shit, fuck it.
yeah.
I don't
I'm
want
my
no
own
followers
follower.
though.
I'm my own leader and my own
That
follower.
that shit pisses me off if somebody wants to follow me. Like, nah, get off my nuts.
Yeah,
Get off my motherfucking nuts, man.
yeah, really. Yeah, I mean, come on, have grow your own balls, do
Now,
your
my
own
thing is,
thing.
I love giving reference to people, which most of the time when I give reference to people, they don't follow up on it. They come back
Mhm.
still the same conversation when I expect the conversation to evolve, or
Mhm.
I expect the conversation to evolve. Now I gave you
Yeah,
reference point. Go look that shit up. Let's talk about it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
no, it never happens.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Well, you've given me some reference stuff. I just have to do my homework.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, how you gonna grow if you're not willing to do the work? Like, this is the
You-
problem with our people. We do not have an appreciation for knowledge. Knowledge is looked at as belief in our community, right? It's looked at as belief. Most people, because it will take due diligence. It's not just a Google search. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? You have to actually be animate in the discipline of studying chronology. You got to be animate in that, and you have to be. This is why I know so much because it's over 20 years of me studying. That's why I know so much about
Yeah.
history. You know what I'm saying? I can talk. I can have conversations about history and be on point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Why? Because I've been studying for years. The Bible, like the government, law. I've been
Mm-hmm.
studying this shit for years. I already knew from day one because I was committed to knowing. A lot of people are not committed to knowing. I was
Yeah.
committed to knowing, so I was actually. As a matter of fact, every month after the 15th, I take a week off just to study.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A week, a
That's
whole week to just to study. That's
yeah.
something
You need that
I
time.
implemented a year ago because it was like, why am I not going to where I see that? Because I was originally from day one looking for the solutions. So when I find the solutions, I want to harbor them. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, eventually harvest them into, you know what I'm saying, into a harvest. You can't just, it don't happen overnight, man. This shit don't happen overnight. You
No,
want
it
to
takes
cultivate that
decades.
shit so we can harvest it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, knowledge is a lifetime experience. It's something that you're gonna we pursue for the rest of our lives, not just this life, but the next in all the lives that our soul incarnates.
How dare you be an adult and still at a stagnated level of understanding about the world? How dare you? Like, you have no right to do that in my book. You have the
Well,
right to do it, but at the end of the day, don't expect to be at the grown folks table. You stay at the child's table, the children table. No, you don't
well,
expect to be at the grown folks table.
I was having a conversation with a Christian last night, and the more I spoke on certain things, the more weirder they got. And then they just said, you don't have to know all these things. Why do you need to know all these things? Why do you have to have all this knowledge? You don't, why can't you just be and just believe in God and let God guide you and bless
Right,
you?
but that's the narrative that they're pushing. Even though the Bible, if interpreted, this is why you got these loose interpretations that they use to manipulate people with the Bible and certain concepts where some in some sense they said don't don't go on your own understanding, and then in another sense show yourself approved. And I think this is the Bible is giving you a glimpse of a development, a spiritual development, because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, when you're developing into becoming who you will become, you're going to go through ups and downs. You're going to go
Yeah.
through ups and downs. So you might be in the process of in the process, and then say you get caught up emotionally into something else and fall off. That happens. It's
Yeah.
realistic. We're humans. So at the end of the day, it's like the scripture is saying contrary to what most people have interpreted certain scriptures where it was another one that said oh yeah, the whole narrative of how God wanted that wasn't didn't want Adam and Eve to bite of the tree of good and evil, which is the tree of knowledge or whatever,
Hmm.
and because he wanted to keep them naive. I had an argument with another Christian talking about, yeah, we should be naive of certain things, and I'm like, that's the same argument they was making, and too, I'm like, why?
Hmm.
Why was so? What our Creator gave us a brain so we can just be mindless motherfucking zombies and just follow His word. I don't think that was y'all have some weird interpretations of the Bible because the Bible I don't see that in the Bible. My interpretation of the Bible is very spiritual. It's based in spiritual development. The Bible is encouraging you to become a God if you
Hmm.
read it properly.
Yeah. Well, if you read it below the surface, if you're reading below the surface meaning, but you're going in, deeper into it,
Right.
to the deeper meaning, rather than the outside. What it can't go by the outer appearance.
But knowledge is layered like that for a reason because it's going to challenge you to up your ante. What level of this knowledge are you actually on? Because I hear people talking and I can hear what level they on.
Yes.
I can literally hear what level they actually on because they will not challenge themselves to go further into that particular subject matter. I can hear it. You're
Yeah.
right here. You're stagnated right there, and that's what you've for your own
You got comfortable.
incompetent. Yeah, your no for your own inconsistencies. You said I must just stop right here, and I know enough. That's emotional. That's not based in because you always gonna your ideas should be changing constantly.
Yeah, this should, like I said, this is a process that's not just only in this life, but the next life and the next life and the
Right,
next life,
right,
all the way back to the 0 point.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
you're right because it don't stop. You can be on lax mode right now and be working in the interest of the archons because they want you on lax mode, beta mind state, not thinking of much. Why? Because they drain your energy in that state. And that beta mind state is the perfect state for them to conduct their draining process or their what do they
Well,
call it? Mining. They're mining your spiritual energy.
yeah. Well,
They're mining your divine spark.
well, yeah, like Brother Panic used to say, a lot of motherfuckers are just a food source down here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that brother left a lot of good knowledge. But
I'll be I've been looking at Brother Panic shit because I already seen the depth of his understanding of this shit,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why I really looked at him. Because anytime I'm familiar with the depth of what somebody, then it always gravitates me towards it.
Yeah. Yeah, he did have death. Yeah, I mean, he was just, repeat a lot of the same stories over and over, and you have to hear that shit before you got into the meat. He didn't give it
That was
all
the
to you.
main. That was the main thing that kind of made it where I couldn't sit through a long lecture like that.
Yeah.
Because his
He,
lecture would go for 3 hours, not because he was just going 3 hours in like that, but that's the spiritual aspect of it. Because he had to do it like that to see who was actually interested in the real meat and potatoes of the knowledge,
mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
because it's like a ritual, it's like a ritual and like a what they call a hazing to see who really about that knowledge. If you can sit
Yeah.
through 3 hours of this shit, you really about that knowledge.
Shit, man, if you sit through 8 hours of like how to die and never come back, those two, 3 videos.
Right.
Luckily for me, I was in the hospital for 15 days and I had the time to listen to that shit.
Right. I listened to a big portion of How to Die and Never Come Back. I didn't listen to it all the way through. But I listened to a big portion of it, and the reason being is because I'm like, damn, I already know what he's talking about.
Pretty much.
I'm like, damn, he right on point, right? I'm like, damn, yes,
Not only that, it's not only just how to die and never come back, but how to evolve millions of years, go light years ahead of where everyone else is at spiritually. Where it's going to take them billions of years to get there in a lifetime or two.
right, right, and that's
Yeah,
really based on what you're doing right now as it pertains to your self development, your
yeah.
development. Like, what is your spiritual? If you are still on a level where, like Bobby Hemmett talked about how a brother who was high in the spiritual and the metaphysical, and then he went back to being a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those are the
Mm-hmm.
people who get emotional about it and really they get traumatized about the knowledge and act like it's going to haunt them, or you still are captured into the stereotypes and not the stereotype, but the superstition of the Christian world, right?
Oh no! What happens to them? They get in a jam in life, and all of a sudden they forget about everything they learned, and they go back to the original shit. Oh Jesus, Lord, help me, save me,
That too,
Jesus.
but at the end of the day, it's like you right. But at the end of the day, that's not going to help you on your spiritual journey. Like the whole point is to evolve, not to go back into the light.
Yeah, it's to go in the darkness, and that's not easy to do because that's
Right.
where you're gonna find the real true you in the darkness.
Because you know
Because
what happens is they keep us in fear about this concept. They keep us in the dark about all these concepts and make it where it's taboo to talk about it. People don't want to talk about religion. Why? Because they have an emotional attachment to the concept of staying out of it. This is my own personal thing. No, at the end of the day, it's happening to all of us collectively.
yeah, and then on top of that, they say, just believe in Jesus and pray to God, and then all of a sudden, I'm not gonna go out there. I don't want to be over there because this or that. Oh my God, the world is this and that. I'm like, uh, don't you supposed to pray to God and ask your God to help you and change all that shit?
But that's
I
the
mean,
that's the point. That's not what the scriptures actually says. You feel me? They misinterpreted to think that all you're supposed to do is no. The scripture says something contrary. You're supposed to show yourself approved. You're supposed to you're supposed to show yourself in the spirit of of the, you know what I'm saying? You supposed to also, when they talked about how you supposed to go under your own, you're not supposed to go under your own understanding. Well, there's a scripture that also said that ask for the spirit of discernment when you want to understand, right? There's a
Mm-hmm.
spirit of discernment that you can ask for, and it will give you understanding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is
Yeah.
basically telling you to access your higher self and then ask questions.
And it'll lead you to a book or a video. It'll lead you to some
I've done this
information.
before, and you're right. I've done it before. The spirit has led me to the process that I am right now in my development. Like it was all based in me just following the spirit. It wasn't my higher spirit. It's not just because this is a lot of people's dilemma too. When they first start off, they don't know where to start. I would tell them to ask your own spirit, and it's going to
Yeah.
lead you right to it.
Yeah. You just
Right?
have to believe it. Yeah. That now here's where belief and faith comes in. Having faith
Listen,
and
people,
belief.
believe it or not, belief is a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
Belief is a superpower. People are just
Oh,
using it the wrong way.
yeah, it is a superpower.
You know what I'm saying? They just using it the wrong way. You using most people are using belief to cover up traumas in their life, like as an imprint, like as a mechanism to a coping mechanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're supposed to use belief to do magic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're
Act
supposed to
as if.
use belief to do magic because whatever you convince the subconscious of becomes real.
Yeah, because the first law of the universe, the all is mind. The universe is mental. So the
Right.
mind makes it real. So, I mean, that's the basis of all magic right there.
The subjective and the objective are being blurred at this point, right? Where
Hmm.
because this whole reality of as us being collective to this reality being three-dimensional orientated, that stuff is breaking down now. So now what we're calling fixed reality is not fixed no more. It's fluctuating. It's literally
Hmm.
fluctuating. We don't know what is what now at this point. And someone is
Tell me about it.
someone is purposely trying to, because what happens is the elite, I think, from my study of this, they know these things are coming, right? So
Hmm.
they do what they do is, and you got to give them props. You can't, at the end of the day, you got to respect the ones that you at odds with, man. At the
Yeah, got it. Yeah, they some hell of a
because
players.
what they do is they take events that are cosmic events that they know that are happening, and
Hmm.
they use it to manipulate the people with. Right? They
Yeah,
use it to manipulate the people. They know it's coming, so we might as well get ahead of this and try to give the people the narrative that will
the
take them
narrative
off the
in
trajectory of
control.
a bigger spiritual goal.
Yeah, he like you guys said, he who controls controls words, control reality.
Right. And
Yep.
the thing about words, that's what I'm saying. These are powers, and we don't understand that we're using power. We have, like, people just use, like, for example, people just talk. They don't understand that you're putting something in the universe every time you say something,
Yeah, I know some
and it's
people.
going to come back exactly how you put it back out there, dumbass.
Yep.
So wouldn't it be incumbent upon you to understand the words that you're using, and
Hmm.
when you put them out there, because these are spelled. That's the power of the word. This is why that's sanctum in the Constitution. That's sanctum in the Constitution, where, well, that's the second, the first or the second, the right to speech.
Right to free speech.
Right.
Yeah. Shit. I think that's the first one.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, either it is the first one. because they know
Right.
the power. They know the power of the word, bro.
Yeah.
That's another power that we neglect. That we don't think we have power.
You
Your
take
own
that.
words are powerful.
Yeah, that's why.
Not if not to the world, which it is, to yourself.
Yeah, but the right now, words is really fucking the world up. Our words is really having an effect on the world.
Of course, of course, because it affects our mind, right? I
Mm-hmm.
look at words as mechanisms to apply to the spirit of the mental spirit world, right? You use
Yep.
words to affect the mental world, to affect the spiritual world, right? Because these
Mm-hmm.
are if people recognize the power. Hold on, go ahead and talk.
Well, yeah, you're right. Um, words they have a hell of an effect on us. But speaking of cosmic events, you know what's happening on the 8th of April, right? We're having that second eclipse. Well, actually, it's the third eclipse. The first one was on August the 21st,
What
2017.
what type of eclipse? A solar eclipse?
Yeah, solar eclipse. Okay. And the second one was, I think, last October. And now this third one is going to be on August the 8th. And it's a trip. If you use the path of each eclipse, uh, it makes an A. It makes an
Eight,
A, but A,
eight.
but actually it makes the anarchy symbol or the antichrist symbol.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, and that's a
Yeah.
divine intelligence too, speaking to us. So to
Yep.
follow the patterns of the planets, to follow the patterns, and actually break it down into a language into that can be palatable to our understanding, our minds right now. This is an
Mm-hmm.
intelligence. This is why crop circles was a higher intelligence attempting to speak to us through symbolism,
Yeah.
right? They
Definitely.
always
Yeah.
these higher intelligence because we got these benevolent
Conscious.
beings that exist. We got these benevolent beings, but we got these benevolent beings, but we also got benevolent beings that want to see our evolution, that want to help
Yeah.
us in our evolution.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got to. Well, the aeonic forces. You have the aeonic forces and the archonic forces. The archonic forces are the opposite. They want to suck our evolution. They want to suck the evolution out of us.
Mm,
And the aeons need us to evolve because if when we evolve, they evolve.
mm, right. I knew.
Yeah, because they want to go to the next realm, but in order for them to go to the next realm, they got to make sure we're ready to take the spot that they had.
Yeah, right. Because that's the funny thing about negative and positive too. Because it always has to be balanced out.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're like they said they said that that's why I watched these cartoons. It was a Avenger. It was Avenger cartoon where there was, like you said, a necessary evil entity, right?
Mm-hmm.
That there's one powerful uh, um superhero who became he was a human. It was a human that became a superhero because of the Terrigen gene. I mean, the Terrigen crystals that uh,
Mm-hmm.
that activated a latent DNA. See, now that whole story about the eternal, that's us. They talking about us, latent DNA,
Yeah.
the crystal that
Mm-hmm.
activates latent DNA and all that stuff. They talking about us. Well,
No.
this
Well.
one he got a very powerful superpower, right? And
Yeah.
he killed this one evil entity. And
Mm-hmm.
they said, "Why did you do that? Why did you kill him?" He said, "Why did you kill him?" He said, "Now, a more greater evil is going to fill that spot now." I'm like, "Damn!" A more even greater evil now has got to fill that spot,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how this shit works.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
have if you have a void in the negative side of the polarity, something got to
Mm-hmm.
fill that void.
I'm going. Yeah. Probably something worse.
Worser
Some
than
more.
what you was dealing with.
Yeah. Shit, you was better off leaving that alone, just letting it be.
Right. You feel me?
Yeah. Now you got hands
Man, it
really
even
your
gets
work
to a
really
point
cut out.
where war becomes so senseless to people where we can be cordial with each other, man. Fuck all this. You feel me? That's when that's
Well,
when that's when the polarities balance itself out.
well,
Like I still hate your fucking guts, but we got to be cordial. On we all live on the same planet, and we got to understand that. You feel
mm-hmm.
me? So,
Yeah.
but we still, but on this planet, people are still trying to insert their dominance and shit in some type of way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying? It
it's
can't just be
3D
peace.
on the 3D on this 3D. You can
Right.
do that probably in the 3D, 4D, and maybe some levels of the 5D. But after you reach a certain point in 5D, it's I think it goes a whole different way.
Well, that's crazy. That's a whole nother different dynamics because on those levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something what we're looking at as evil on this level is something totally different on that level.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It may be the same equivalence to what we're calling evils here, but it's something different, right?
Well, what
To what
is?
we're
I mean,
orientated to, and it's all based in our orientation. We don't understand the importance of how we're in a matrix. We in a matrix, bro. Literally.
and somewhere behind every disadvantage is an equivalent a seed of an equivalent advantage. So there's a
Yeah.
seed of an equivalent advantage we have. We just have to figure that shit out. Or
Yeah.
maybe we are figuring it out and executing it because
I look
we're
at
here.
I look at I look at the negative, right, as a essential to the tapestry of of what we call an energy exchange, well, our energy transfer,
Mm-hmm.
energy circulations, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's paramount to these things, right? Just like you need a negative and positive pole on your damn battery,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's like this in this dimension, in this third dimensional universe, the physical universe of matter.
No, but I think
But
what that if we when we understand that, I think society has. But like I said, they literally keep the masses dumbed down and not engaged in sophisticated concepts
well,
purposely.
see that was from the beginning when the gods got here and terraformed us. Remember, they put niggas in the garden and said you can eat from one tree. You can eat from any tree except from one tree,
Right. The
and
tree
that
of
was the
good eating,
tree of yeah of knowledge.
the tree of knowledge.
And yeah, and on the matrix. Now, here's the catch, though: the tree of life. You know what the tree of life represents, right?
The Kabbalah,
No,
the tree
no.
of the Kabbalah.
Well, no. Yeah. Well, the fruit of the tree of life. If you eat
Oh,
from the
the fruit.
fruit of the tree of
Okay, yeah,
life,
the fruit. Okay, yeah. What
it
is it?
would be It would be the same in the Matrix as taking the blue pill.
Mm, right. And look,
See,
this crazy thing. The crazy thing about it is the woman has been demonized because she tempted Adam to eat of the tree.
well, she wasn't demonized by me. She's the most divine thing in the goddamn universe. She fucking freed us.
Right, and that showed that showed that that was a rebellion of the patriarch that was trying to overcome the balance of the ancient world, where they always describe the ancient world as a patriarch. No, it was more imbalanced and complementary to each other than it was more of a one-sided thing where it was either a matriarch or a patriarch. No, in the ancient world, we understood the nature of our genders and
Yeah.
how to use the energy of that, because that's energy associated. We got and that's one of the laws of Tahuti, masculine and feminine energy in the universe, masculine and feminine.
Well, see, before the gods came, we were one complete being. We were androgynous. We were both male and female. We were perfect.
I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, we actually are now, because you have your mother and father in you now. You just have
Yeah.
a more polarized version of your father because you became a male. Now, if you go into the science of how and in prenatal care and understanding the science of that, they actually can't determine what the fetus is until the hormonal activity goes on, right? The hormonal activity of the body, basically, and it's literally based on the chemical makeup of the father and the chemical makeup of the mother, right? This
Mhm.
all plays a part in what the fetus becomes, because the fetus is basically most people say it's feminine. It's a feminine, but it's the result. It's coming from a feminine entity, so
Mhm.
it's based in a feminine production, right? But you got to understand that the sperm that was inserted in the act of sex play the masculine part. Some people say the spark or whatever, that the fertilizer, whatever you want to call it, right? Whatever happens in that. But what happens is the hormonal breakdown, and it's based in very much alchemy. If you break it down, because it's based in chemical, you can understand how hormones are based in how the chemical breakdown of the body too. That supports or facilitates hormonal balances or hormonal productions, right? Women is estrogen, males
What,
testosterone.
what about the mitochondria? We all take
Well,
on our
just the
mother's.
mitochondrial is based on what they talk about mitochondrial, because I don't even take their concepts and try to apply it to my mind without questioning. Because the mitochondrial is nothing more than an indicator of the so-called black woman was the first woman on the planet. Why? Because all humans have mitochondrial DNA, and
Mm.
mitochondrial is just the processing of proteins, right? The mitochondrial actually breaks down and process and it breaks down protein. It's the protein. It's how the proteins are broken down and everything. So everyone has this in their DNA, so they are able to trace the original woman back to every human on the planet.
Yeah, yeah. But that term, mama's baby, but daddy's maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eve got raped in the garden.
Why
All
you
of
why you say
Eve's
that?
shit, that's all in the Gnostic text. The demiurge and archons, they had their way with Eve. They tried to get her daughter, Zoe, but they raped, Yaldabaoth raped her and gave her Cain and Abel.
That's
But
crazy. If you look at the Bible esoterically, then all these other narratives come out that
but see,
are contrary to the one that they're trying to frame. They're trying to frame a narrative.
oh
That,
yeah, that I mean, shit. Noah made a deal with Yahweh, and Noah wasn't even. See here, okay. Cain and Abel belonged to Eve and Yahweh, all right. But
um,
Adam and Eve, they had Seth and Zoe. So you have a part of humanity that's Sethian, and then I guess the other part of humanity is Abel. I mean Cain.
right.
So those two different bloodlines. Well, actually,
So
they're the
now the
same.
story. So that story has a deeper esoteric meaning, basically.
Yeah. So
So that's
so
what you would read the Bible from an esoteric standpoint, in opposed to just the surface.
yeah, but that's where I mean, where it all began, where you have this genetic warfare, where the enemy comes down and implant their seed in the female of their opposing side and give
Mm,
her their offspring,
right.
and then they can take over the land.
Well, that's
Because,
exactly what they did over here too. That's
but
exactly what they
that's
did,
what
literally.
but
Literally.
that happened before that. So here's a story telling us that this happened way before that on a cosmic level.
Mm,
Yeah.
right.
So you got people here that are from a different bloodline than other people.
Mm,
So yeah, that's what that story is telling you. You got all these different bloodlines.
mm. It
So
makes sense.
that's where
That's why nationality comes into play too, because nationality is natal line. It's your pedigree. It's the bloodline you originally came from.
mm-hmm,
We talk about bloodlines.
mm-hmm. But see, the devil came down and fucking pretty much violated all the bloodlines and impregnating
Why?
them
Because they
with his
impregnated
own.
the gods. They impregnated the children of man. I mean, the daughters of man.
Yeah. Well, they do that too, but before that, they did that in the Garden of Eden. But they don't tell you that story in the Bible. They do in the Gnostic Bible in the Nag Hammadi library. They tell you all about that.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
So
And
basically, it was the whole story was a rape story, and they tried to cover it up. They tried to cover
yeah,
it up and
they
say it
tried
was
to.
some Garden of Eden type story. Okay.
It was more. It was some raping going on, raping and pillaging. Yeah, they tried to
Right.
do that to Zoe, to Eve's other daughter, and she prayed to the Most High, and she became a tree of life or something, or she was lifted up. She was taken out. They couldn't fuck with her.
Hmm.
And then Adam had his first wife, Lilith. Lilith was
Right,
more
right, right.
powerful than all of them. They
Yeah,
couldn't fuck
I
with
heard
her.
of Lilith.
Yeah,
Lilith basically was a goddess or some type
and
of
she was a great mother.
demon goddess.
Yeah, they demonized her. They made her evil.
Right.
They make well in the Bible. They make all women evil. They make them whores and evil witches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
They do. They
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Right. And then the harlot basically is like God's worst enemy.
yeah, yeah.
Or what they call it, Jezebel? Nah, they call it Jezebel.
Jezebel. Jezebel.
Jezebel.
Yeah, between her and Satan, I don't know which one's his worst enemy.
No, it literally says in the scripture. It said a harlot or a Jezebel. I can't even remember which word they used. Is the worst enemy of God or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing, but it does say something like that nature.
we read the story. I read the story about her. She was very treacherous, but she married into the tribe of Israel, and she started implementing her own agenda with theirs and took them off track. And that fucked that guy got so pissed off over that shit.
Right.
Because some woman took his kingdom from him, pretty much.
Mm.
Yeah. So the God of the Bible, he don't like you, ladies. If I was y'all, I wouldn't
Well,
be pretty.
so that would say that all ladies are hoes, though. Then you just you said you don't like ladies. You just implemented all women as hoes, then,
Well,
because he
that's
don't
what
like
I'm.
hoes. He don't like harlots. Harlots. What it say? It either said, like I said, it either said harlot or Jezebel
Hmm.
in the scripture. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But both of them mean a hoe.
yeah. And then shit, they made Mary Magdalene a hoe, and she was the most important disciple.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not mad at hoes. You
Shit,
understand me?
I live on figure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at hoes, man. I mean, at the end of the day, some men are intimidated by hoes because they know that they may not be able to sexually please a hoe, and that's kind of what in the back of most men's heads, like, oh, I can't do nothing with her. She's got all these men, and that's because none of them refuse being with a hoe. They will be with one,
Shit, I
but
mean,
in the back of
shit.
their head, they got an inferiority complex with her.
I mean,
She
if
so
you
many
had,
men.
if you met a chick that used to be a whore and STD free, and she just want to be with you, and you got it going on, and she want to be with you and just be your hoe, go for it, because that's
My
gonna
thing
be
is,
fun.
it's like this, man. It's like men are very sensitive when it comes to women and them being able to control a woman and all that stuff. My thing is, at the end of the day, right? Women,
Mm-hmm.
the natural order is women supposed to be under the order of a man. I get that, right? Because she can avoid a lot more turmoil. Because I'm not saying I don't like hoes. I don't not like hoes. Like their life is not full of drama and turmoil. Hoes life, hoes life are devastating, man. They should have devastating, man. They should have. So I wouldn't advise women to be a hoe. I wouldn't advise women to be a hoe, right?
No.
But at the end of the day, I have no overwhelming insensitivities to what hoes like. Be a hoe, like I'm saying this because I see in the red pill community where a lot of men basically are basically shaming women for being promiscuous. Right at the end of the day, I don't shame them. I just let them know the consequences of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not nothing. If you want to do that, go ahead, do it. But
Yeah.
there's consequences. You at the end of you got to realize that.
Well, a lot of people, are like implementing this polyandry thing
Would you mean
where
multiple wives?
multiple sex partners.
Well, people doing that anyway, so they doing that
Well,
anyway.
yeah,
Is the hookup culture? That's just basically the hookup culture.
yeah,
People having sexual relations with each other with no emotional attachment, and they just out here
just
fucking. That ain't nothing but the revamping of the goddamn sexual revolution that happened in the 60s and 70s, man.
yeah, and
And
then
I mean,
they'll
people
develop.
been Humans need to make an excuse to have sex without thinking about the consequences.
I mean, that
They
shit's
need to have
fun.
a reason to have sex without thinking about the consequences and not being shamed and not because I listen to this stuff all the time. The whole uh, se- uh, uh, sexual marketplace advice. Like I listen to them all the time, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
literally orientated around sex. Everything is based in sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the base desire that everyone is engaged in. Sex. That's it. All of the babies that have been born from, I will say, from 1999 to now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that was just sex. They wouldn't. That was just
They
sex.
was not love.
They had no
They
intention to
were
have no baby.
they weren't love childs. They were no love.
I'm trying to tell you. And guess
Love's
what?
child.
Even further back, like I said, 60s and 70s, at least back in the 60s and 70s, people had more of a sense of responsibility then.
At
Now,
least they were having heart chakra babies back then. Now they just having straight out root chakra babies.
root chakra
And
babies, yeah.
them root chakra babies is bad as all outdoors.
Hey, but
Them-
guess
them-
what? That's what if you ever heard of this rapper named Sexy Red,
I think so.
well,
Yeah, I think you
she's
mentioned.
all viral on the internet from being the
Oh
most
yeah, yeah.
vulgar, so being the most vulgar. You know what I'm saying? Hood rat. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? People basically said they just put a camera on a hood rat.
Yeah,
They
you
just
know
put the
who's
camera on
behind.
the hood rat, and now she's famous,
You know
right?
some Jews probably behind that shit.
Of course, man. We got to see, but I'm not looking at the plot on a mundane level of it, right? I'm looking at the
Mm-hmm.
spiritual energy. If you ask me, Sexy Red represents Khalid. Khalid,
Khalid Muhammad.
yeah, no, not Khalid
And what?
Muhammad. Khalid
Oh,
the
Kali.
Khalid.
Kali, the goddess. Kali.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
she
All
represents
right.
her.
That's her. That's Kali energy.
Yes,
Well, I mean, on an astral plane, I've had sex with Kali.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, she killed. She's like a black widow though. She's like a black widow.
Like a black widow.
Yeah, she
Mm.
gonna kill you afterwards.
Oh shit. Now.
Right. And most
Well,
feminists use Kali. Listen, most feminists
mhm.
use Kali as a defeat of the patriarch. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Her
She got she
energy.
got she got a man at the bottom of her feet on the symbolism of her picture.
Yeah. She. Yeah.
Listen,
She
I
got.
mean we got to start bringing those. That's what I'm gonna do next show.
Yeah.
We're gonna start
Uh,
bringing these pictures in and breaking down the symbolism, all the symbolism of the pictures.
yeah. Picture of her. Picture of Tiamat. Yeah, there's so many different pictures of Tiamat.
And we can just
Picture of
look at them and just see all of the nuances of symbolism and the triple and double and quadruple entendres.
you ever looked at a picture of Apep?
No,
Apep. Oh man, she's something else. She's the mother of chaos.
I think Kali is a chaotic energy too.
Yep, but
But
here's Apep.
she really actually represents justice too, though.
Here's Apep.
Oh, it looked like a triple-headed
She's a snake.
serpent. A triple-headed
Yeah.
serpent.
Yep.
It's a triple. Look. Oh my God! Let's break this shit down. That's a triple-headed serpent with one head.
With three tails. One tail. Ooh,
But
three tails.
you can tell that it's a evolved being that evolved over three cycles, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually maintains those experiences. Is that the
Mm-hmm.
same one? Is that the same
Mm-hmm. This is
entity?
APEP. Yeah, the same entity, APEP.
Okay, but that don't serve much justice in the first one though.
Yeah, yeah,
The
that
first one
first
served
one.
a lot of justice, man, because you could tell it was a triple head snake that
Mm-hmm.
became one.
Yeah. Yeah, there it goes again. APEP.
That's the best one
Raw.
right there.
Yeah, she was overthrown by Raw.
By Ra, the sun
Yeah.
god.
Raw. Yeah, that was her son.
Right, that's the what are you talking about?
Yeah, she was overthrown by Raw.
Okay, what was her comedic name? Apec?
Yeah, APEP. APEP. APEP.
Hmm. 'Cause I ain't never heard of her before.
Oh shit.
I thought I knew
Shit.
all the pantheon of Egyptian gods.
No, no, she was an ancient Egyptian deity who embodied chaos and was thus the
Oh,
opponent
so
of light.
she's like a one. She's like one that goes back that because they haven't even revealed all of the ancient uh anthropomorphized symbols of the ancient Egyptian world or the Kemetic world.
Mm-hmm. Shit, they even damn. It says
But
here.
Noon is one of those. Noon is one of those primordial goddesses.
Noon is ain't soft or.
Ma'at is one of those primordial goddesses.
Well,
Ma'at is one of the primordial goddesses.
yeah. Well, it says here that she wait. Okay, she embodied chaos and thus was an opponent of light and Mayat. He appears as an art as a giant serpent. Oh, Apep. I thought Apep was a chick. It says
Right.
he.
That makes sense that they were opponents of Ma'at because Ma'at represents order, harmony,
Mm-hmm.
reciprocity. And it was see what we call at odds from
Mm-hmm.
that's just from a human conceptualization of it, right? But from a higher a higher understanding, these things kind of were uh, uh, polar polarities of the universe. These are polar polarities of the universe,
Apep represented the universe before the cosmos.
right? And Ma'at
Cosmos was dead.
represents the cosmos coming into order,
Yeah. All right.
into
Yeah. The
harmony,
prime.
into balance. She was
Mm-hmm.
balanced. She represents balance,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. But in order for that balance to happen, you have to have that chaos.
Of course. I mean, what are you going to balance it out with? You
Yeah.
have to have
And
something to balance out.
yeah. And the powers that be know this real good. They practice this shit real good.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they mean this is a you have to understand these concepts because if you don't, you don't understand how to manifest in your own creative powers. That's another thing that we have creative powers and somebody else is using it.
Yeah.
We're not using our own creative powers. And that's the problem.
Yeah. Someone you
They
yeah,
created
we're
this,
using it.
they created
We're using it for someone.
they've created a prison. Yeah, they created a prison for us
Mm-hmm.
with our own creative power.
Well, yeah, they put us in this. They put us. We're a microchip inside of a computer. The computer is our physical body. The microchip is the black dot.
Mm. I think the black dot is like a transmitter that allows us to exist here and beyond in a omnipresent state that we exist in. It's like a signaling station. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, actually, it's the small head, the little head. There's the bigger head behind it. Like I say, like I use in my in my libations, you have Adam Catman, Atik Yaman, the ancient of ancients, the most ancient of days, and Irik Ampin, the big face, the primordial Christ. And then you have Atzlith, which is the supernal world. Then that's the cosmic Christ. And then you have uh, the great abyss, or the crown of Zerampin, which is the small face. So the small face is actually the bigger head above us. The small face would be is Doth, and then you have another one. I forgot the sun is called. It's Zoroampin, but it's a different Zoroampin. And then I think we have the sun in here that corresponds with those greater suns up there.
Have you ever did the experiment where you put a quarter on on your forehead to see if it's magnetized to your pineal glands?
Yep. Hmm. Yeah, you told me about
Did
that,
it
and I did.
did it stick?
Yep.
Did it
Of
stick?
course. Yes.
Mine too.
Yeah, I'm not calcified.
Yeah, it means your pineal glands is working because it's a
Yeah,
mag. It's like a magnet. It's like a
yeah,
magnet effect. It's like a magnet effect that it gives.
yeah. Electromagnetic. Yeah, it's not calcified.
Right,
Yeah, it's functional.
right.
Hmm.
So yeah, get your last words in, brother.
Last words. Well, I've come to the conclusion, man. They don't want me on either side, man. I've been hit by the 10th automobile, and they still haven't been able to take me out of this world yet. But other than that, um, shit, I'm almost short for words.
Right. I think you
Man,
need to watch that movie called Spider-Man: The Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man and Spider-Verse.
The whole series.
Oh, okay. What is it? Is it on Netflix? Because I have Netflix or HBO Max.
I doubt it might be. I doubt it though.
Mm,
Well,
hmm.
you can watch it on that website I gave you. It's called
Okay.
Gojora. Gojara. I think
Mm.
Gojara.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, here's some last words. Well, tonight is the new moon. Tonight. We have a new moon tonight. So, this is the night you want to do your rituals to manifest what, to bring whatever it is you need to bring in by the full moon. Even though our goals should be far more further out than the next full moon. Should be a process. Each full moon should be a step closer and another step closer and another step closer to something really big in our lives. Whatever it is for you in your life, I know what it is for me in my life. So each each new moon is an opportunity for me to plant the seed for something to grow by the next full moon, but it's just only adding on to something that's even greater. Eh, because we're all working for something in our lives and in the future that we hope that would change our lives and change the world, or at least help the people that we love and ourselves. So I know what I'm going to be doing tonight after this. my full moon ritual. I mean, my new moon ritual. And next month on the 8th, we have that. We have the third eclipse. Yep. It's going to make that A, the anarchy symbol, which means this country is going to be judged this year. Probably after that eclipse. Who knows? But damn, it's the third one since 2017.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so that's it.
I love what understand your power, man.
Do what?
You're not powerless.
Oh no.
We've been led to
Especially the
believe that we're powerless, that we're inferior, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's purposely done because it's an inhibitor. It inhibits your actual power. See, this is what we do on this show every weekend. Is why we had to do it, even if it's on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We counter the spells that have been placed upon us.
Yeah.
We're countering the spells, and it's key that you recognize that they are constantly trying to put a spell. And this another word for the spell is social engineering. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
for y'all, this is social engineering is the same thing as actually conducting spells upon y'all. Same thing.
Yeah.
So just recognize this, man. Even though you may be a Christian and you don't want to deal with magic, well, if you don't want to deal with magic, just recognize you're being subjected to magic.
It's dealing with you. Yeah.
You're being subjected to magic, whether you want to accept it or not, and it will behoove you to understand how magic actually works so you can use it yourself.
Well, they can't. They have to pray to Jesus and God for help.
I mean, that's fine too. That's fine too, because at the end of the day, those who don't resonate with our message, they wasn't meant to be resonate with it. This is a frequency that we represent, a signal from a higher intelligence, and everybody is not going to adhere to the sound. It's like how when you hear a signal and only certain can hear the signal, can hear the call. Mm-hmm. That's what it's meant for.
Well, I feel if you have to pray to some deity outside of you, then stop saying that I have to get my shit together, because it's out of your hands now. You gave your power up. You gave all your power up to someone else. So it's, your life is no longer in your hands. You're not in control of your life.
But that's the inconsistency in these people's beliefs, because in one breath they say it's out of their hands, but in the next breath they're telling God what he's supposed to be doing in their life. In the same breath, like,
no, you're supposed to.
At the end of the day, they when it's convenient for them, they know they recognize their power. When it's convenient for them to say, "Oh," like I was talking to a Christian the other day, and they was talking about, telling me that you don't know you don't know my relationship with God, right? Yeah. I said what you just did was dictate your relationship with God. How do you know? How do you know God want to have a relationship? You just all of a sudden he just assumed that you. Why? Because you assume that because in the church all they say is God favors you or God got your back long as you follow his commandments and shit. And that's not what the scripture says. Y'all not even reading the scripture talking about y'all have a relationship with God. from the I'm just speaking from the mundane perspective of a Christian. Like how you have a relationship with God and 85% of y'all don't even read the Bible.
It's
Right?
shit.
That's
They
supposed to
don't
be the
even.
word of God. How you gonna that's the only way you can have a relationship with it is knowing the word. So these people are
They,
just real not they are conveniently saying whatever makes them feel, whatever's convenient to make them feel good at the moment, not recognizing by you doing that shows you have the power over it.
mm-hmm.
It just shows you have the power over it.
Yeah.
You are assigned, like I hear people assigning what God gonna do in their life when it's supposed to be the other way around from their perspective. They saying, "Oh, God's supposed to be the one in charge of my life," right? So
Mm-hmm.
why are you attributing what God is going to do actively in your life? Then you attribute that. You told God He was going to do that.
But now that means they can't be in control of their lives now, since they gave control of their lives over to someone else or something else.
But that's the
Now,
psychosis of it, though, bro. You're right. You are right. But the psychosis of it is you just told yourself that. That's the ultimate control right there. You just told yourself that all is out of my hand. Only God can. You just told yourself that. That was the power right there.
yep, you gave the power up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna end it right there, brother. Good.
Okay.
I'm glad you was able to come in today because we
Me
wasn't able to
too.
come in yesterday. It wouldn't
Yeah.
have made sense because it would be too late. We came in, we would have came in 9:15, had to do the mantra and all that stuff, and the show would have been over. We wouldn't even have time to talk. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I only want to really do hour shows for the most part because if we go beyond an hour, you lose the attention span of the general public.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I want to still start implementing what I was talking about with the questions and try to get a little bit more reference, a little bit more reference to the people and to follow up on and shit. And we
Yeah.
can do one about the stock market and futures and options and all that too. Too, I can come up with some questions and stuff, and
Okay. Yeah.
we can break it down. Do the same
Yeah.
shit with that. Do this vice
Okay.
versa with the treaties.
Yeah. That means we both have homework. I have my homework. I listen to those videos to the
Yeah, I
Moroccan.
actually have been following up on some of the references you've been giving me though on that shit though. So
Mhm. Yeah, I
you know,
listen. I listen.
that's why I kind of understand options and futures now. I was looking this shit up.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm
Good.
saying?
Yeah, because
Bonds, all that stuff.
I sent you the chart of that. I don't know if I should say this, but the Fed Fund futures. not, not too many people know about that. They don't talk about the Fed Fund futures, but you can make a lot of money trading those motherfuckers in a recession or in an
Right.
economic boom. Because rates only do one or they only do three things. They go up, they go flat, then come down, go flat and back up, go flat and come down. And that's
Right.
how that market looks. When rates are going down, that market just goes straight up. And then it goes flat. And then when rates go up, that market comes straight down.
Right. You talking about interest rates.
Yep, interest rate, short-term interest rate, short end of the yield curve. Yeah, I
Right.
was playing the
At the end
30.
of that's crazy because I never knew the power of interest. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what all our money is debt, dude. It's not even money. It's not even. It's just debt. Is That's all it is debt. Real money is gold and silver, or
And
uh,
that's why interest is so powerful because the people who are loaning this money, they
mm-hmm.
are they are manipulating the whole fucking economy based on the interest that they're charging. You know what I'm saying? And the fluctuation of that interest is how it goes up and down and shit. They're
Yeah.
using that as
Well,
manipulative. They're using that as a manipulative tool.
the central banks and the bond traders control interest rates. Central banks control short-term rates. Bond traders control the long end of the yield curve. But The banks, the more loans the banks give out, the more money is being created. Like I said, our money is debt.
The
So
more
our money,
interest the more interest is created.
well, yeah, saying, well, when they
Yeah,
loan
every
money,
time money is it's inflation. It's inflation.
yeah, when they loan money, money is created. I mean, it's
Right.
not, they don't print it. It's just digits because they don't have, if they loan, you go into a bank and you ask them for $1 million loan, they're not going to give you $1 million in cash. They're just going to write you a check and give it to you. It's interest, and it's just uh, 100 on a computer.
Right. They
So,
might they might not even have $1 million because
oh no, well,
they invest that money is invested back into whatever ventures that the bank is diving in.
well, see, when you put your money in the bank receipts, they call it bank receipts, they loan that money, or or better yet, since they're not loaning, or they'll take that money and buy other instruments, debt instruments like treasury bonds, treasury bills, or
What
mortgage-backed securities.
what actual service do a bank provide to what service does it provide?
Loans. Banks are there to give out loans and create money. That's
Do
the
you know
service
the
they provide.
definitions of service, whatever?
And the definition of,
What product do they have? Do they have a product that they're selling?
yeah, yeah, loans, debt. That's all banks sell. That's all the central bank. That's the only tool they have is debt. They solve
The
their
only
problems.
product they have. That's the only
That's
product
the
they
only
have.
problem. That's the only product
So
they
they're only
have
selling. The only thing they have for sale is debt.
is debt.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when the government borrows
So it don't
is
even seem like a legitimate business to me. You know,
no, it's a Ponzi scheme.
you know,
It's
like
a straight out Ponzi.
what kind of business makes money off of borrowing? I mean, getting from because they're literally borrowing it from you. Because they
Yeah,
take the
they're just
people's money and
borrowing.
they borrow it out. They borrow it out to others.
Yeah, they loan. Yeah, yeah, your bank receipts is being loaned out, are being used by the bank to buy treasury bonds, treasury bills, mortgage-backed securities, or
Right,
whatever.
right. So they're actually using they're not even using their own money, their own
No.
the bank's assets, the bank's wealth, the bank itself.
Well,
The bank
according
doesn't
to
use their
them,
own wealth. Of course, the bank itself may be $1 million bank, multi-million
well,
dollar bank, but it's not
uh,
going to use its finance. It's not going to use its capital to do nothing.
well, they do use some. They bought up a whole bunch of treasury bonds back in 2021 when I was trading them motherfuckers, and like me, they got their ass handed to them. But the only difference is they still holding on to those assets and they ain't worth nothing. So those banks are insolvent. And they're going to stay insolvent until interest rates come back down and those bonds gain value back.
I'm
So
glad
the
you used
bank,
that word insolvent because you know the United States of America is insolvent too, right?
oh yeah, yeah, of course. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Meaning when you understand how um the structural government, the legitimate government actually works.
Hmm.
If if a government becomes insolvent, meaning it can't pay its bills. Is basically what it means. It can't pay its bills. When it becomes insolvent, at that instinct, it becomes a de facto government.
Yep. And
Meaning
then,
it lost its power because it doesn't have the means to pay its own bills.
yeah. And then it has to just print.
Right.
And they So what it does, the Treasury Department would print up all these Treasury bills and monetize it and use that as money. See, right now, our Treasury is printing $1 trillion worth of debt every 100 days. Okay,
Mhm.
we're producing $1 trillion worth of debt
What
every
is America's gross domestic product?
debt.
Damn,
Well,
you right. I was about to say something else. You right though. I was about to say weapons.
well, that took. Well, shit. That was one of the most deadliest weapons we sent. Okay, now the whole world is indebted almost $400 trillion.
Under the dollar, under the system of the dollar, they're indebted.
Yeah,
Under the
almost
system of
four.
the dollar. This is
Almost
why
four.
they come. This is why they come in with the bricks.
Yeah, but there's a trick behind the bricks too. There's a trick behind that.
That's a trick behind anything anybody in power do, man. They
Yeah,
have no.
like
You got to understand. It will be impossible for the elite, those in power, to have the people who are seemingly the ones without power, because the people actually have all the power. The people who seemingly without the power to have nothing more than opposite interests. There can never be. They can never be sentimental to the lower class, and the lower class can never be sentimental to the higher class. Why? Because this is the dynamics of how these societies work. There has to be this classism. It has to be this compartmentalized way of putting people in a place based on social, not socialism, but classism.
well, that's so our energy can be extracted properly by the archons.
Not
But
only
you
that,
remember,
because they can manage the Earth's resources without a fully informed general public. You know what I'm saying? Interfering with their agendas, right?
but
They
yeah,
get to manage all the natural resources on the planet through their economies.
but using the general public as slave workers to make all the corporations richer and richer. But you remember, okay, see, here's what happens when the dollar fails. You remember you was telling me about that story where that guy killed some evil person, and they said an even greater evil there is going to come.
Mm-hmm.
So when you kill the dollar, there's going to be an even greater evil to replace it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So when the dollar falls, if it does, because
Well, what happened is the dollar is just the perfect system for all these governments on the planet. Why? Because all of them want to engage in a pansy scheme.
well, it's the world reserve currency, and we see we have a luxury that no one else on the planet has, having the world reserve currency. We can print our way to oblivion. Okay, they can't do that like we can. But somehow they're figuring it out because they're all indebted like a motherfucker. So when you have almost $400 trillion worth of world debt, the only logical thing to do after that is to have a fucking war, or you're gonna have to kill off 2 billion people.
Right. Which is what they're edging towards right now.
Oh, that shit is already. Sit back and
Not
really
only
just
not only
watch.
is it not only is it conflicts happening internationally, but domestically, it's like a it's like pot a pot with the top on it ready to bust open, man.
Yeah, any day now we can have some major terrorist attack here, or the grid getting shut down. Anything. I
Right.
mean,
Why? Because
yeah,
it's already set up that way. They're saying how
yeah,
Biden is allowing the borders to be open,
Mm-hmm.
and all these militia groups is coming over here,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Preparing themselves for all the destabilization that's coming, because you got to understand the culture of not militias, but mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
The culture of mercenary is really dog eat dog. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be terrible, man. I
Well,
can tell you.
those mercenaries are probably set up by the U.S. government or the deep state. They're set.
Well,
They're,
yeah, some of them are. Yep.
uh,
Some are being sent by other countries who have interest. It's crazy.
yeah. So shit. Yeah. Everybody better do their fucking rituals. Get
And that's the only
prepared.
thing you can do. But if you're trying to do something from a spiritual perspective, you're not gonna be effective. You
No,
gotta do
you
your
think
rituals, you gotta learn, you gotta understand how to conduct your own magical spells, how to um, do all your rituals to set up the spiritual world in your favor.
protection?
Right,
That's the reason why I've been hit by 10 automobiles and I'm still walking around here like ain't shit wrong with me. Even
right,
though I hurt. That's spiritual protection.
right. It actually
And
works, y'all. It actually
because
works.
yeah, you need it because right now, if you have any if you're conscious and you have any light in you right now, you're going to be under attack. Okay?
Right,
I was under attack last week. I knew it. And so I had to do certain rituals to do. I had to go on a spiritual attack. I have to defend myself spiritually. And tonight I'm going to the spiritual realm and I'm setting off some missiles.
right. I mean, you
Yeah,
can do
I'm
it from the astral realm, or you can do it from the dream realm. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like how do I do it? I do a lot of elusive dreaming,
hmm
right? Where I go into to my dream and not only interpret the symbolism of it, right, but actively play a part in the manifestation aspect of what is basically edging towards the trajectory of where it's attempting to, because you got all of these potentialities, or it can potentially happen this way, it can potentially
yeah,
happen, it can potentially happen this way, it can potentially happen this way. You got, imagine having multi-million potential. There's way more than that, right?
yeah,
But just imagine having multi potentialities right in front of you, where they all represent doors,
yeah.
right?
Well, well, then you have to be in a position where no matter what potential occurs, whichever door we go through, we got
No,
to be
listen,
ready. hmm
listen. Don't even think about it. If you had don't even think about it. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it.
Don't even
You're
think
right
about
about
it. Because when you start
it.
thinking about it, that's going to break down. That's going to
hmm
break down, and like you said, like when you start thinking about something, it actually brings you back into a solidification,
Yeah.
right? When you want to be not here or there, you want to be kind of in between worlds.
hmm
Let
In the
me give you
zone.
a good example. Let me give you a good example. If you play NBA Live,
hmm
where the part when you got to shoot your free throw,
hmm
how the ball is going up and down, and then you got to wait until it get right in the middle and then push the button.
Yeah.
That's somewhat how this works, right?
Precision.
It's not
Precision.
just precision. It's not just precision. It's just like instincts. It's precision and instincts. It's like it's these two
Instinctive
worlds. It's
precision.
these two worlds marrying each other and being able to basically work together.
Yeah, it's like that master. Like someone's getting ready to stab him from behind. He's not looking at him, but he grabs the spear and grabs it and kills them, and don't even turn around and look at him.
Right, because once you think about it, then you actually affect that energy at the point. Because the thought, this is why we were just talking about. Your thoughts are very powerful in the tapestry of the universe of the cosmos. Your thoughts, we don't even know how much our thoughts affect our reality.
Yeah, really.
You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll come back next weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I want to say hello to my friend David. One of my friends I went to school with. He was checking out the show tonight. If you're still up, hey, thanks for being there.
Yeah, it
And
was
you too.
somebody. It was one person. It was one person in there. You know, you usually only get one or two people in here.
Uh-huh.
But it was one person in there at one time.
Uh,
They went off. But yeah, we'll
okay.
see y'all next weekend.
Yeah.